あの事件知ってるからな、本当にあったみたいな。びっくりした、本当に。びっくりしたな、このストックホルムのね、スカンディナビアポリティカルグループっていうのを言うけどさ、ストックホルム国際平和研究所の関係者、このメンズたちも知ってるから、どんなもの知ってるからな、そういうことやん。クリンゲール機関も知ってるからね。ここオランダ軍主体のさ、シンクタンクですよ。軍が実験に行ってね、軍艦。あまり軍関係者偵察を知ると、本当に。515事件、225の事件にもあるしさ、あれでも、暴走したようにね、さ、めっちゃ恐ろしい。軍が恐ろしいね。あとは日本国内のテロリストのものに言ったけど、もしかしてアメリカのペンラゴンこうした人を荒らしたとか言う、荒らしたら本当に死ぬぞ。サイバーテロ対策部隊動くぞ。サイバー軍動くぞ。動くぞ。日本国内のテロリスト報告しで。要は俺はね、どうの国でもプライベートインテリジェンスエージェントがああいうことしてるのに工作員ですからああいうことそういうふうにしたら一応国連ではないどこのポジション何も言うとらいっすよね。そういうことはこういうストック同じですさ。要はクリンゲール機関ね、ただの団体じゃないで、いやここみたいな感じで団体よみたいな感じでみたいな感じでこの団体にかちょっかいやつ本当に血を浴びるぞ。本当に血を浴びますよ。血を浴びるぞ。このメンズたちさ、クリンゲール機関の正義非正規会でさ、ゲームでさ、学校もあるよさ、教育してるね、優秀な。不正してる場合はもうすでに分かんない。世界の各界に影響力行使でめちゃくちゃもちろん海外からも OK です。OK です。別にこの地球人のOK でした。こういうことでした。皆さんご注目していない。さあ日本映ってない。日本映ってない。これ分かる3人水を見るボロッカス水を見るボロッカスしました。はいスプリー見せましょうね。ストックホルム国際これ見せるわ。これはさすがにカットすればいいだけ。サムが集めた回収員です。そういうことでした。ダメなんでストックホルム国際平和研究所。ただの団体じゃないです。研究所。ダメなんで。研究があるでめっちゃ。ピースのこと。実は軍関係者。関係者がスタッフの上を。これが飛んでる人もね。関係者。そういうことやな。日本側のビルダー会議出席者ね、今の分ね、彼はオブザーバーとして出席。これが事実です。オブザーバーとして。 出席者だけ、これだけでした。まあ、世間に映像を見せるので、もうすぐ来る。もう3人のもうすぐ来る。もう暗くなるから、ちょっと。そういう感じでした。
Thanks for having me. I should note that although I have a Treasury Direct account myself, I really don't have any inside track into the Treasury. It was just my speculation. But I'd say, one of the best options for the Treasury would be to do something really boring and arcane that nobody has ever asked them about before, in the vein of an extraordinary measure, right? The kind of accounting mechanisms that the Treasury is using right now today to fund the government's operations are really boring. They have to do with not funding pension obligations today when they'll fund them whenever this gets sorted out instead. And it doesn't really make for good sensational articles, and we're pretty used to them by now. But at some point there was a first time they engaged in these maneuvers. And I would like to think that the Treasury might have some new extraordinary measures that they might resort to buy themselves a little extra time. Janet Yellen's letter to Congress is really a masterpiece of ambiguity. She says that October 18th is the date after which we become kind of uncertain about what's going to happen. It does definitely not say that October 18th is the date that we think we're really going to run out of gas and run into a wall. And it's fair for her to be totally studied in her ambiguity right now. She would like Congress to feel the pressure to get this thing moved out of the way and not have to do any of her tricks up her sleeve. Now that said, I think there are some tricks that folks have put out there before. There's some really interesting articles by Professor Stephen Schwartz about how the Treasury could use special purpose entities to issue debt that does not have the full faith and credit of the United States by law, but that the Treasury would more or less represent, does in fact, represent
as a European continent.
a debt that the United States will fulfill, and it could raise money through that and try to stave off a technical default in that way.
It is true
that starts to feel a little bit trickier than I'm sure they would like to, and does make for some good sensational news copy, but might be better than a technical default.
And I say that because there are certain countries, such as Greece, such as Italy, such as Spain, which have taken a far greater hit than others when it comes to the migration crisis. And yes, the numbers are overall down, but problems do persist in countries like the ones I just mentioned. So the question one needs to ask is, has Europe done enough in order to alleviate the effects of the crisis throughout the entire EU community? Has Europe done enough in order to share?
I think that the Treasury could start to communicate pretty strongly to the congressional leaders that we think we're on the brink of financial disaster. No joking around. This is really going to buy us a few days, but nothing more. And I think, I am a political scientist. I think it's impossible to separate all this out from the politics at some level, because at the end of the day, what matters so much is what the political leaders want to do once we get to this situation of extremity. If it's really clear that in fact the political leaders just want this problem to go away, and that they will make that happen by tomorrow, then I think the kinds of options Treasury needs to consider to avoid a technical default today look a lot different than if they think they're facing a crisis that could last weeks and weeks. God forbid, longer than that. I do think there are good reasons to believe this time around in 2020 there really isn't a lot of interest among our political leaders in any kind of default. You actually had legislators in 2011 and 2013 who were saying maybe it would be a useful and, bracing corrective for the United States to have a default. It would really show us that we need to change our profligate ways.
The question is, what is the future
Nobody's
of
saying that
political
this time.
parties?
Both parties have
I can
been
speak to the U.S.
thoroughly
more than
profligate
anywhere else.
in recent
I
times.
was a member of our Congress for 9 terms and left because
nobody
it
is
became
saying
so partisan
maybe a
and
default might
dysfunctional.
be fun.
At the Wilson
For
Center,
all
we
that he's
studied
saying,
this,
Republicans
and
in
there
the
are
Senate
some
will not
remedies to the
help
problems.
raise the debt limit. Mitch
Bottom
McConnell
line,
also has
in
been
the
very
U.S., our
consistent in
tradition
saying
is
the
2
United
parties
States
only.
will pay its
In
debt.
Europe,
Well,
there are
let's say
multi-party
he's
systems
wrong,
in most
and
countries.
I like this
And we're
concept from
seeing
game
the
theory
rise
called
of
trembling
populist
hand
parties.
equilibrium.
In the U.S.,
The
we
idea
have
that
no populist
even if
party.
the
We have
correct
a
strategy
Republican
say you
party
should
that
never end
is
up in
now
some place on the
dominated
game
by
tree.
our
Well, maybe
president.
you might
We have
end
a
up there
Democratic
anyway
party
when
where
somebody
most
screws
of
up.
the
So
noise
that's
is
the kind of
coming from the
thinking
far
we
left.
need to have.
What we don't have is
If we
anything
end
to
up in this
represent the
really
center.
terrible situation,
And that is the challenge for the U.S. going
I
forward.
think then
That
the
is
next
something
phase
I
is
work on, and that
we
is
still
something
say
that the
we'll
Wilson
never
Center
default, even if
is
we're on the
hoping
brink
to
of technical
improve
default. Even if it's happening, we should say
if
we'll
we
never
are
default.
to convey
And make this thing go away as quickly and quietly as we
majority
can.
view in the United States, essential to making our foreign policy and domestic policy effective. We need to reach for the center so that we have both parties participating. And hopefully we'll advance that goal here at the Trilateral Commission.
Well, everything ends up in lawsuits in the United States, so that's a good bet. But I think it's important to say there are no good or perfectly clear legal options for the Treasury if it comes to this situation. Prioritization is not the law. Republicans tried to pass it into law, and Democrats said, no, we don't want that. And so it is not the law, and if the Treasury decides to do it, it will be sticking its neck out, and there will be people who attack its action as paying China first and paying the rich people first, because that's who holds the bonds after all. And I think it has to be ready for that if it wants to go the prioritization route. On the other hand, it's also the law to pay the obligations as they come due. It really doesn't have a perfectly legal option in front of it, so it's always going to be a matter of choosing the least evil path available.
Including industry and research and services at a global level. This idea that Europe as a whole should be, again, more present in the global conversation came very much out of this meeting, which was, again, very comprehensive and stimulating. But you will see that in the various video perhaps that you would like to see. Now, I have to give you a new rendezvous. We have rendezvous in Washington because it would be trilateral at the level of the 3 pillars of the trilateral in the entire world, if I may. And this is a Washington meeting which will take place in March 13 to 15. And so we are with a big rendezvous which would be important, and we could discuss the global issues in the tradition of the trilateral with a vision of an open world, a free world, a world which is taking stock of science, technology, and the wave of innovation, and also respect our fellow citizens, is attached to democracy, is attached to equality produced by the working of a market economy, a vivid market economy. So, à bientôt.
The Fed doesn't want to try to be telling Congress what to do, or threatening Congress. We're going to do